Well, happening now, January is National Ski Area Safety Awareness Month. Perfect timing for those of us looking to go skiing this winter.
Well, it may be the last day of January, but staying safe on the slopes is still important all winter long. And joining us live with some safety tips is Vice President of Marketing at Mount Hood Meadows, Dave Tragathon. Dave, good to see you. Good morning.
Oh, it's an awesome morning this morning. We're back into getting snow, so there's a lot of interest in people getting up on the mountain and having a great day now that we're getting a bunch of snow up there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we had a few rescues on the mountain recently, and let's talk about the why this is the case. What are the conditions up on the mountain right now that really would encourage us to think about safety?
It's an interesting season as far as snow goes because we launched the season after 3 days of snow back in the middle of December, and then it just snowed for almost 6 weeks straight. And the rescues that you're talking about are happening outside of the ski area permit areas. And for the longest time, people weren't able to get up there because there was no snow. And then there was just all this snow, and it was actually quite dangerous with the avalanche conditions being so high. But we've gone through about a 2-week period of high pressure and sunshine, which actually has made it stable, much more stable to get up into the high country or into the permitted areas. In that particular case where the rescue occurred, it sounds like the snowboarder lost control, fell, and then did a slide for life into a ephemeral. And it was really quite a dramatic rescue of the snowboarder. So, we do need to distinguish between going backcountry outside of the permit area where there is no grooming, where there is no slope stabilization. It's really up to Mother Nature to determine exactly what the risk of safety is going to be out there versus inside the permit area where we do groom our runs. We have other skiers and snowboarders that apply the pressure on the snow that helps stabilize it. That's a big part of what we do every single night with our groomers. So inside the permit area, there's kind of a different set of rules or responsibilities that people should abide by.
Right, you're dealing with some more controlled conditions where the snow is concerned, but of course you've got lots of different people in the same area, all going different speeds and at different ability levels. So what are some of the safety concerns, within a ski area?
Sure. Most importantly, when we talk about the responsibility code, you could stop at number one. And number one is to stay in control. And to stay in control really means to be on a type of a trail that you are comfortable and have the ability to be able to ski or snowboard on. So I always encourage people who are just trying to learn to experience ski and snowboarding for the first time to take a lesson. First of all, we'll make sure that you get the equipment that you need, and we'll teach you the technique of control, how to turn when you want to turn, how to stop when you need to stop, how to avoid others, and what you should be looking for in order to be able to ski and snowboard safely. Too many times the people are brought up to the mountain by well-intentioned friends who then take them onto a trail or on a lift that person as a beginner just is not prepared to negotiate. So number one, stay in control. You can best stay in control by taking a lesson and then choosing the right trail for you to be able to practice on.
Now, we're hearing something about the Ski Area Responsibility Code. What is that, and how does that apply to people like me who come up to the mountain?
It's a basic 7 tenets, or really 7 rules of common sense. I was just talking about staying in control. Another good one is that people ahead of you have the right of way. So don't barrel down through people that are ahead of you. They can't see you, especially if you're wearing a helmet or if it's windy or whatever. So the people ahead of you have the right of way. If you're going to stop, make sure you stop in a safe place. Just don't stop right in the middle of the run. In our terrain parks, we have people who maybe hit a jump and they stop and say, well, that was fun. But then you got to think there's somebody else that's coming down that terrain park too. The same thing works on the slopes. When you start downhill, always look uphill. It's just like turning into traffic. When you're in a car and you're at an intersection, I was always taught to look to the left, look to the right, look to the left again before I turn right into the intersection. It's the same thing with traffic on the hill. We use devices to make sure that our equipment don't run away, either straps or spring-loaded brakes on them too, so we don't have skis or snowboards barreling down the hill. And then the two other things that are really important: observe all the signs, because we have signs that tell you what you should do, and more importantly, what you shouldn't do. Like if there's a red rope, don't cross that red rope,
Right.
because that's marking out of bounds. It's marking closed terrain. That's marking terrain that you should not be in, most likely for safety concerns.
Yeah.
And then we also want everybody to know how to use our lift safely, how to get on and off the lift, because ultimately that's how you're going to get up and enjoy all of the run.
Yeah, for some of those newer skiers and snowboarders, getting on and off the lift can be just as difficult as getting down their first run. So all good things to keep in mind. Dave Tragathon from Mount Hood Meadows, thanks so much for joining us this morning.
We'll see you back up on the mountain again, huh?
Oh yes, I'll be back up there very soon, especially now that there's a fresh round of snow. A lot of fun. Thanks, Dave.
Thanks.
Well, always good to keep that safety in mind. You can find more on those ski safety tips on coin.com. Just click on the AM Extra section.